Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy GDP and PCE week. And Fed speak. Tons of Fed speak this week. Good morning, Royal Palms. Remind me about CRWV. Okay, Sterling, hope you have fun at jury duty. Thank you for letting us know. You really think you'll get selected? Good morning, by the way. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, OD Green. Good morning to people on Rumble. Still waiting for people to filter in. Light week. Also, Ryder Cup coming up at the end of the week. Ryder Cup coming up for any of the golf fans. So, I've been to a couple Ryder Cups. They are a lot of fun. What do we have going on this week, though? What do we have going on? We have the Chicago Fed National Activity Index still in contraction. We have William Muslim speaking, Bark and Hammock. Also, Bostic was speaking too this morning. Hello, Daniel. Hope you are doing well. So lots of Fed speak today. Tomorrow, we got the S&P Manufacturing Services and Composite number. I think Bostic speaking again tomorrow. Maybe he is. Richmond Regional Index and Powell. The big thing tomorrow is probably Powell. By the way, Bostic said he sees a little reason to cut rates further for now. What else do we have? Wednesday, we have EIA numbers coming out for crude traders, so we got daily speaking. But the big numbers start coming out on Thursday. We got the GDP. Again, the final numbers for Q2, the PCE numbers for Q2, durable goods. We also have the unemployment numbers. So, and Kansas City Fed, manufacturing and composite. So lots of stuff on Thursday. And then Friday, we have the August PCE numbers. Barkin speaking and Michigan consumer sentiment, the final numbers for September. So Thursday and Friday are the biggest news days. And the next biggest thing is Powell speaking on Tuesday. So, hello. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Kevin. So Bostic sees unemployment at 4.5 by year's end. Good morning, Mark. Hello, Charles. I have 2.9 for core inflation. It's 3.1. Interesting. I didn't. Well, this is coming out now. I only priced in one rate cut for all 2025. All right. I did see that. Let's see. I see little reason to cut rates further. All right, so there's Bostic's take, but we got a lot of other takes coming out today. The heat map this morning, you got Apple and Tesla up. All the other mega caps are down. The market's pretty negative overall. Groups, basic materials. Is real estate still up? I wonder if real estate, basic materials, and utilities, but basic materials is the only thing that's substantially up. Everything else, financial services, comm services, consumer defensive, all falling. Fed watch, as opposed to Bostic, still has a cut for October and a cut for December. So 2 more cuts this year. Fear and greed, still solid in greed. Schiller PE trying to get over 40. I don't think it's going to do it today. Trying to get over 40. Let's get over 40 in this dirt cheap market. Let fall bring nice cool weather. Yes, it is officially the equinox. We're officially in fall. So happy fall to everyone. Good morning, David. All right, in terms of earnings, nothing today. AutoZone tomorrow morning. Micron tomorrow afternoon. KB after close on Wednesday. Biggest one this week will be Costco. Thursday afternoon. So again, Thursday is big going into Friday, PCE Friday. So that's where we sit. That's where we sit, but a very light earnings week because we're going to kick off next earnings season. I believe, isn't it next Friday? Not this Friday, but next Friday, the banks kick it off. So, good morning, Ted. Rick senses the narrative is changing to fundamentals. We shall see. All right. Overall, I'm being very, very cautious right now. We're overextended from the daily rotation zone and the weekly rotation zone. Okay, if we were to return to the weekly rotation zone, that could be back to about, well, this is going to keep rising, even 550 to 6,600. But right now, on any pullback over the next couple of days, I'm paying attention to 66.71 to 66.56. Today, I'm just going to be looking, if we do break above 67.16 area, that's key resistance. So that's what we have to break above this morning. Other than that, I am still watching the rotation zone for minor rotations back up, but we're getting very exhausted. We got divergences. We got waning momentum. So anything is a bounce only. There's a lot of support points in here, so it's a little tough for me to be any aggressive short because we got bottom of the rotation zone right around 66.90 to 66.95. Then we have another major support base about 66.75. Then we have another key support about 66.65. So unless we get massive momentum to the downside and can start printing momentum bars, I can't really do much to the short side besides watching for pullbacks. And I already gave you the bigger levels I'm watching between 66.71 to 66.56 over the next couple days if we do manage to pull back there. If we do break out to the upside, again, because anything's possible in this insane market, first of all, we have to sustain above 67.16. And we have a whole little minor target area up here, 67.46 to 67.54 to 67.61. So somewhere in there, I'd be looking to at least aggressively raise a stop, if not take profits off. NASDAQ, again, 4-hour rotation zone. NASDAQ's starting to get a clear path below about 24,695. You're getting into a clear path. So that could be more interesting for shorts, but I have to break below 24,625 before I'm really interested because that's a key support area in a prior breakout zone. So that's going to be a key support zone. Again, we have about 24,695 and then 24,625. To the upside, I have to get it above 24,860. And then if we were to break out, again, if I can get my lines on there, we have minor 24,968. Then we have a major cluster. We have a major cluster right above 25,000, but with 25,000 to 25,032 is a major topping area. Should we rotate back up? So hold on one second. What else do I have here? Rick seeing less benefits to Costco, but gas pays for membership. The Warren Buffett indicator, capitalization divided by GDP, a key measure of market valuation. Buffett into 219. It's higher than the .com. I know I saw that. I saw that this weekend. It's the highest ever. Again, when it changes, it's going to change, and it's going to not be pretty. But the trend, I mean, you have retail. Margin debt is through the roof. Again, instead of people pulling money out of the market, they're just leveraging more and more margin and more money to just keep things grinding. And here's your NASDAQ. Way off. But again, do we have a major topping pattern? Not yet. Are we going to probably at some point get a sell-off? Then we'll watch for the secondary bounce, which might set one up? Yes. But until that happens, I got to still watch for pullbacks unless we get massive downside momentum or something shifts. The Dow, very sloppy little double here, but I'm watching again about this 46,300. Key resistance 46,690 to 700. Again, but this is going to be coming into the daily rotation zone, so I'm not really looking to trade that double from the short side. The Russell played out its little 4-hour double top, 1-hour double top. I believe I highlighted this on Friday. Confirmed, triggered, and just bleeding down. Now there is a little mini double bottom here. Is a little mini double. Needs a close above 2469.3. Little bounce pattern potentially there in the Russell. Again, Russell also overextended. Key area I'm watching for a Russell pullback is 2443 to about 2430. That's the key area I'm watching, at least then for a potential bounce play in there. VIX, staying, again, slightly more elevated. Can you trade this as a double? Can you trade this as a double? Let's see if it works on the 1 hour basis. It actually works on the 1 hour basis. I'll just be keeping an eye on that. That would be for a more of a significant sell-off if we get above 1675. DAX. The DAX coming up to that 50, rotating back down. Again, I'm still watching for breakdown plays in the DAX unless we close back above the 50 and above this 23,860 area. The yields, little reaction here against the first target area. The double's now gone way too lopsided, so there is nothing. On a pullback, if we get below the 4 hour rotation zone, I'm really watching just a breakout area for the double, about 4.08 for a key support. Again, we slammed to the other side of the rotation zone, and so I'm not surprised to see a little pullback here before potentially the next move higher. So, good morning, PMG. Yeah, we have the $100,000 cost now on new H-1B visas, and I read a bunch of stuff on H-1Bs this weekend also. Yeah, Michael Green, I read that article, Rick. If somebody has it, post it in, if you could post a link or tell people where to go, but Michael Green wrote an excellent article on H-1Bs this weekend. It was an excellent article. Definitely search for it. I thought it was an excellent article. I think Rick did too. What else do we have? We have crude coming back down to this key support area. I'm now going to be watching for a potential bounce pattern down here. Unless we start closing below 60.84, then I'll be a little patient. But in here, I'm watching for a bounce pattern. Technically, tomorrow, this would be extended, but it would have to get above today's high for a %B buy. But I'll be watching over the next couple days. Again, nothing yet today. What else? Gold just keeps moving higher to the next harmonic. 3760, next harmonic. If it keeps going beyond that, 3,800 to 3,805. Is this a little mini potential double that will probably not trigger? Let's see. Technically, we still do have a mini potential double. Might be invalidated in the next few hours. So I'm not even going to put it on the chart. But there you go. Silver also breaking out to new recent highs. There is no potential double there. Coming up just shy of the next 4420 harmonic. So, but again, just continuing to grind higher metals. Dollar index pulling back. There is a little minor lopsided double triggered right here. I'm not looking for shorts here. I'm looking for pullbacks and then potential another bounce play in the dollar. Something's definitely shifting in the dollar. Still, everybody's bearish. Can't get overly bullish, but still watching for that shift. Even if we come back to a potential, be an interesting double bottom because of extended base, but still watching for that. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, John. Thank you for posting that, Sterling. Uh, Spiders, again, there is a little mini 4-hour double top against the rotation zone on the 4-hour basis. That would need a close, and I would not be shorting this one. Be looking for just bigger pullbacks. It would need a 4-hour close below 660.37. 660.58 would be the first target I'd be looking for. Right now, slight gap down. There's a very key level of 661.78 in that area. If it sustains above there and we do rally, you have a gap fill to 663.70. And then if it breaks above 665.14 over the next couple of days, 667.29. We do have still waning momentum also in the spiders, the Qs. Slight gap down today, 597.60. The gap fill would be to 599.35. The next harmonic, 601.19. Support level. Support level is back at the prior harmonic at 598 to 598.11 area. By the way, Bitcoin broke below that trend line, coming back down to test the key area that triggered the double. So Bitcoin has broken that trend line. The double is still in play. The double is still in play. So just keep it. Also interesting enough, the NASDAQ, yes, a slight pullback this morning, but the NASDAQ's, still trying to push higher. The Bitcoin's pulling back. Ethereum also tested key support today. Remember, the double's off the table because of it extended too far, but there also is a clear path move down here if Ethereum breaks down. What else do we have? What was CRWV? CRWV failed double before. This little other double had a failed double before, but this one looks like it played out. Yep. Oh boy, mixed signals here. Because you got the close below 62.5, you have a double playing out, but geez, you got mixed signals on CRWV. So coming into a very key resistance area. So I would not, with that double playing out, again, there's no short-term bullish setup for me right now. The only thing this would need, look where that this was the failed double from before. Actually, it wasn't a failed double from before because it was off the table. I misspoke. But where this closed is right at 62.5. The only way I could be sustained bullish in this is above 149 on a closing basis. Other than that, I'd be still looking for rollover plays just because the probabilities have shifted. You had a little bounce play, but nothing that's changed the probabilities until it gets a close above 149. So I'd still be watching for rollover plays in this, personally, in CoreWeave. But it's got to, if it holds support back at 110 and sets up a nice little buy pattern, it might be a little scalpy long. If it closes back below 110, I'd be watching for the gap fills. So this in the short could be a scalpy long, but if it closes below the rotation zone, the 50, and back below 110.75 technically, then I'd be looking for rollover plays with the gap fills. So there you go on CoreWeave, NVIDIA. Nothing, still in massive just consolidation. Weekly rotation zone. We're losing a lot of momentum in some of these AI stocks. Broadcom is also still overextended from the... We might get a %B buy coming up. Going to be paying attention, but that would be for a bounce play only, not for an extended move. So we'll keep an eye there for potential bounce play. This is still way overdone on the weekly basis. Tesla, I mean, we still technically have the magnet price of 454 higher. So again, no shorts for the time being. No shorts for the time being. And you're still getting the option juice. Other than that, I mean, look at that. What's this PE is trading at again? 241. Now they might have some okay sales this quarter because the eliminated EV tax credit wraps up in 8 days. Other than that, oh boy. Oh boy. So let's peek back at the S&P. S&P heading into the open. I mean, really going into the open, it's got to start sustaining above 67.11, and then it's got to take out this 67.16, 67.17 area before I can do anything sustained bullish. Other than that, I already covered. There's too many. There's still too many key support points for any shorts. So again, watching for weak potential longs unless we start closing about a 4-hour rotation zone, then focus on the slightly bigger pullback area. What's PM? Do you want Philip Morris? Philip Morris? It's really not much to talk about here. Philip Morris, I mean, it's definitely shifting. We got the first cross of potential rotation zone. I'd be watching for, if I was going to do something in Philip Morris, this would be a real interesting area to pay attention to on the weekly and the daily basis. Right around this 200, right around here, it'd be very interesting if it starts breaking down again. Is there a strong setup right now? No. No strong setup in that. It would have to start closing back above about 167 to make at least a minor breakout bullish case. I'd be watching closer to this 200 on the daily and to the 50 and this prior key support area. That's where I'd be looking personally for another potential longer term pullback to add position. Yeah, I'd be looking for around this 155 area potentially. I'd be sitting on my hands until that, at least. All right, that's where we'll wrap it up for today. Have a fantastic trading week. Good luck on jury duty sterling. Keep me posted with that. And I shall talk to everyone tomorrow. Bye for now.